they retcon it to be a female empowerment moment.
Okay. Hold on. Am I back now?
No.
No? Okay, that's great. Hold on. I'm checking real quick. Okay, OBS is reconnected. Hold on, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Oh, great. OBS is gonna consider this 2 separate streams. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. This will just be part 1 then. Alright. Alright, this will just be part 1. It's fine. Bit of a pain in the ass, but okay. The last was part 1, and I'll just call the other thing part 2. And that's what it is, I guess. Alright. Alright then. Hold on. Let me change the stream title, I guess. This will be part 2. Yay! Okay. Alright. Hold on a second. Alright. Okay. Anyways. Where was I? Like, where did exactly did, like, I cut off for you guys and all that? When, like, my internet's disconnected. Like, what was the last thing you heard me say? Hello?
I forgot.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Okay then. Anyways, what else is there then, real quick? I'm trying to legit remember some stuff here. Okay. Hold on a second. Okay. Anyways, it was something important, maybe, Chelsea? Maybe, I know it has something to do with adventures, oh, no, now I remember. I was talking about just the state, I guess kind of just, somewhat about the state of Marvel and stuff. Long story short, I was just saying, basically, problems that kind of came in the early days of Marvel, you could argue maybe like starting with Downs and all that, has just been compounded on top of the brand new problems that's been going on with Marvel nowadays. So that's really what I was just trying to say. I don't know if it came across or not, but oh well. That's what I was trying to say. So but anyways, is there anything else you want to say though about Avengers though? The domestic movie?
That's about it. It's a good superhero action movie. One of the best.
Alright. Yeah. State of Marvel is now poopy, Chelsea. Well. Oh well. It is what it's gonna be at the end of the day, I guess.
Oh, hopefully Fantastic Four is good. It's intriguing, at least.
Hopefully. I hope Fantastic Four is good.
Oh shit, have I shown you guys this meme?
Let me see. What meme?
It may have been one I've taken from here in the shooting back room. Okay, you know what honestly would be better if I know it's token, but I think it would honestly be funnier if Carmen said, how many times we have to discuss this? You're Mexican. You like Dragon Ball Z. I think it would be kind of funnier. See, that's not a stereotype. That's just fact.
That is fact. That is fact. White boy summer falls up after Arab Spring. How do you think white boys obtain summer? Through jihad. Okay, real quick, the whole like token, how many times I have to say is you're black, you're like, no, like video games and stuff. I find it really funny because I've seen like sometimes like genuine posts on Twitter, like just people saying like, so by the way, this is like the first time I ever picked up like Tekken, and I'm really good at it. I'm black, by the way. And then everyone's just like, how many times do I have to say this? You're black. You know how to play Tekken.
You're black. You know how to play fighting games.
All right, we gotta test this. Kangas, boot up StarCraft 2.
I don't have
See, the
Star.
problem with Changus is that he's defective.
He has for now. He's defective, but some things have to be consistent.
I don't.
We just have to find what that is and exploit that.
I don't have.
If Changus ends up being good at StarCraft 2, I like to think that's like his trigger, that's like his awakening point.
We come up to him like Winter Soldier. We like trigger word. Changus goes like,
Oh gosh.
start.
Ray, don't you have
building the additional pylon?
But Ray, don't you have electric powers?
Ray, how many times do I have to say this? You're black. You have electric powers.
Sparks start shooting from Ray's fingers. Oh, fuck.
Now pick up a fight stick so you can learn how to play Tekken, Ray.
Oh yeah, Changus, are you actually gonna consider playing Halo Wars at any time?
Halo Wars? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe.
They're actually pretty. From what I remember, they were pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Newbies are pretty. Newbies for baby's first RTS.
Okay, I guess I could check it. Let me see here.
How is there any deal?
Oh, there's that, but also Steam has it for $20 at the moment.
Somewhere else might have.
Let's see.
Has it for like $10. Might have it for like $10
Halo Wars.
or something.
So Steam right now has the definitive edition. Oh, the Microsoft Store. $5. Okay. Alright, Microsoft. You win, I guess. No. I guess I could give you $5 for Halo Wars. Okay.
We play this, and then Changus turns out to be a master at Halo Wars, and then plays. And then the next stream, he's like, "All right, we're trying out StarCraft 2."
Wait, no, but this is actually the... What do you mean? Okay, no. That's... No, never mind, I misread it. This is just the lowest it's been for $5. At the moment, $20 is the cheapest place to go, both on Microsoft and Steam. So, if I want...
Alright, keep an eye on it then.
Yeah. What about Halo Wars 2?
But Avengers good, Captain America good. You guys have a good night.
Okay. Have a good night. Halo Wars 2 Standard Edition is $40. And the Complete Edition is $60. Okay. Okay, Halo. Alright then. It is what it is, I guess. Alright. Do I like grape drinks?
No, she's saying you guys, so she's referring to black people.
Oh. But I'm not black, Chelsea. So,
He's Korean, and I'm white.
I mean, I drink wine now and then, but that's just more for like special occasions. So,
It's not the same.
It's not the same. Okay.
Grape drink is something completely different.
Okay. Alright. Also, apparently, King Charles is having his own podcast on Apple Music.
Oh my.
Thank you, King Charles. Very cool, I guess.
Well, unfortunately, I have to go to bed as well.
Oh, damn. Okay.
It's getting late for me, and it's also daylight savings.
Oh, that's right. Daylight savings.
Extra hour or less hour?
Less hour.
Last hour.
We're losing an hour, man.
Fuck.
Yeah. So,
And right on the day I was about to finally be able to sleep without a painful toothache.
yeah, so I should.
Granted,
Mhm.
I wasn't gonna sleep until like sometime in the morning anyway, but still.
Yep. All right. Well, have a good time talking about Digimon.
We sure will. We sure will. Alright. Have a good night, Ninjato.
Have a good night.
Alright. Well, I guess that lays the groundwork. So, Digimon Liberator still going on, SGD.
Yeah, it's still chugging along.
It's still chugging along. Is it still good?
Yes.
Alright, let's go.
The last time I talked about Digimon Liberate, I kind of just rushed through some of the chapters because I think the topics were taking longer than I expected at that time. So the last few chapters I talked about had Shoto versing Yao to join the debug team, when actually it was just a test where he was going to join the debug team either way. So it's an introduction to Yao and Sangamon.
Alright.
And Sangamon doesn't actually do anything in that chapter as a character, but Yao, we get to see a lot of Yao, and Yao is entertaining, and may or may not be part of Japanese propaganda. Like, this is how they beat the Chinese, marrying the only thing they have left.
Alright then.
Gotta get the Japanese men to marry the few Chinese women, and then the Chinese will have no women left. But Yao is new to being a game master, and she was previously an engineer on the Digimon Liberator team, which is important for another character. And she also really likes Digimon, but she really likes Digimon in the same way that Calamarimon loved Spirals from Ghost Game. A little too much.
Okay.
And of course, after joining the debug team, they do a time skip and introduce Makinamon, which I've been over that. And then for the chapters I'm talking about now, Owen and Shoto split off to go and help out another member of the debug team, being Close. Which I remember when her name was revealed, I feel like her name is Crows. And I'm sitting here thinking, I don't think her name is Crows. And the real name is Close. Like, clothes, and then someone, like, people don't pay attention to things. They're like, oh, her name is Close. Like, no, it's Clothes. Reminds me of a time when Ghost Game was airing. Some guy was being a pretentious prick, like, oh, they got Ruli's name wrong. It's Ruri, not Ruli. It's Ruli's name is Ruli. Like, you can't spell Ruli in Japanese, but Ruli's name is exclusively pronounced Ruli in Japanese, and the guy had never watched a Ghost Game, so he never actually knew that he was being a dumbass.
How many
and
Terriermon in this Ray? How many?
I think only one Terriermon's appeared, and it's been in the garden, so it's fine.
Well, there you go, Ray.
It's not in any danger for now.
For now.
And this is also when we're probably introduced to Unchained, or Unchained in Japanese, who is so meddling with things behind the scenes. Like when Owen and Shoto go and answer help Close with her situation, she's fighting 3 NPCs who were transported into the Obsidian Desert by Unchained. And unlike other NPCs the characters have fought, they're just regular NPCs. They're just not where they're supposed to be.
Okay.
So a 3v3 fight begins between Owen, Shoto, Close, and the Deep Savers. So the Deep Savers are another field deck, which in the novel so far they've done Nature Spirits and nightmare soldiers, and people were very cocksure that Shoto was going to lose to one of the NPCs because the top end, so the most powerful card in the Deep Savers deck is Aegis Ramon, which if you have more than one memory, one or more memory, so it's your turn, your opponent can't activate effects that target your Digimon, which ruins Shoto's main strategy. But they kind of just skip Shoto's battle.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like Shoto just barely scraped in a win, which kind of shows off to Owen. Like Owen sort of talks down to him before the fight begins. Like, you're just here to fill the roster.
Okay.
Because in a 3v3 fight, only 2 of them need to win, so Shoto could lose and it'd be fine, because Owen had the utmost confidence in himself and clothes, but none in Shoto.
Oh, alright.
I suppose Shoto winning this battle is better for his narrative development, because it's sort of getting Owen to ease up on him. Because Owen really doesn't like him.
Alright.
Because Owen's an asshole, and people were surprised by Owen being an asshole. Like, the character profile warned us about him being an asshole. What are you talking about?
Man, I'm just looking at the dude. I don't like his glare.
But then we also skip the entirety of Owen's battle because we need to keep his evolutions hidden a bit longer. But they do tease us with an image that gives us an idea of what Daimochimon's evolutions look like.
Okay.
And they look like very feminine characters. So people are like, oh no, well, waifu. It's like, I'm not complaining.
Alright.
Because they seem to have a snake theme going for them, I guess. And then we also skip to the end portion of Close's battle, and they show off Cinerismon's new evolutions, which Cinerismon's final evolution was revealed through a card pack for Chain of Liberation, which is also what the chapter's called. And I thought, like, maybe this has something to do with Unchained. Like, doesn't really. It's kind of just a cool name, I guess. And Cinerismon gets 3 new evolutions, because when Cinerismon debuted, it was kind of just a new random child level for Pendulum Z.
Alright.
And I guess its main evolution was Baboongamon, but they decided not to use Baboongamon. Instead, we got Landramon, which is like kind of what you'd expect for an evolved form of Cinerismon.
Alright. Landramon. Oh. It's just a pile of dirt.
Yeah, he's really derpy, and I love him.
Okay.
And then he evolves into a sandy chimera called Prognonomon.
Okay.
Which is like a departure from the theme, but it still looks pretty cool. It says that it flies essentially like how I think Chimera flies, but it shoots sand out of its shell instead.
How does
And
that lead to like a pyramid ghost looking thing?
I was just getting to that, Chungus. You see, Prognonomon's a turtle, and in domestic turtles, there's sometimes this condition where their shell will sort of start to develop points, like raise up, and it's called pyramiding. So it becomes Pyramidimon.
Pyramidimon.
They're all pretty cool, but they can't keep giving us peak like this. They keep giving us so much peak designs, it's become a plateau. And we do get to see some interesting sort of strategy to show like how much of an expert Close is at the card game, because Aegis Ramon does a lot of D-Digivolve effects that trashes the top card of the stack, but Close's Tamer card allows her to place cards underneath her Digimon, which then works out with her new keyword, Fragment, where she can trash several cards from beneath her Digimon to stop it from being destroyed, which most of the time wouldn't work, but thanks to her effect placing cards underneath, that can help it out. Which, they kind of got around too late to doing an effect like that for things like Digiburst, which is a dead keyword because it's really hard to replenish evolution sources.
Okay.
But then they have things like Digivolve doesn't affect Pyramidimon several times. And the twist is she placed several Pyramidimon underneath Pyramidimon. So it's just digivolving a Pyramidimon into another Pyramidimon.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. And of course, Close beats the Deep Sabers. And then the novel stuff happens where we're introduced to Altea, who was referenced all the way back in the first couple chapters for Debug. And Altea is an NPC developed by Yao when she was an engineer.
Okay.
And his part, the novel mistakenly identified Altea as a female, but Altea is a male character. And he's got some like Super Sentai inspirations.
Oh, okay.
And I was really hopeful that Espimon would be his partner, which it was. And Espimon debuted in Ghost Game, but it was kind of just a really weird addition to the show. Like I don't know why they added him to the show, because he really didn't contribute very much, and they didn't seem to want to do anything with him. So he only got like one evolution at the end of the show, and this kind of became a ride for Hero at the end.
Okay.
I guess I think he might have been added to sell more Vital Bracelet stuff, because they did a dim for him, but they also did dim for a Udamon, but really it was Ludamon and Zubamon dim. But I guess because Ghost Game was airing, they didn't want to call it a Ludamon and Zubamon dim. But the chapters about Altea is him fighting a Millenniumon deck, because Liberator tends to reference cards coming out at the time. And around that time, they were doing a set based around the Digimon Cross Wars manga. And the Digimon Cross Wars manga has sort of the final obstacle, but not really villain, be Millenniumon, because in the early years of Digimon, they created Chimeramon, who is just a mishmash of random Digimon without much rhyme or reason. And Chimeramon combines or fuses with Mugendramon, who's a combination of the 5 cyborgs from Digital Monster, which then creates Millenniumon. And Digimon Cross Wars' whole thing is just mishmashing Digimon together for toys, which is like the gimmick the Frontier toys had, but put into the show. Like they acknowledge in the show, yeah, we're just literally mishmashing Digimon together, like with bits and pieces. So I guess thematically, a mishmash Digimon that involves some other mishmash Digimon works as a final boss for a manga. And also within Liberator, those Digimon are all composite Digimon, like that's the classification. And Altea is sort of fighting Millenniumon, which is controlled by a person, so it's not actually a threat, to get his noggin jogging and thinking about Makinamon. And he determines, well, Makinamon can't be a composite Digimon because of the way it's sort of fused together. It's half biological, half machine. So it just doesn't do much for the story. But we do get some nice forms, like we have Espimon, Hover Espimon, and then Hover Espimon becomes Oblivimon, which is a UFO. And then Oblivimon becomes Invisimon, which is a big Super Sentai robot with like a stealth bomber. And it's like I really like the design. So I'm very happy with Espimon finally getting some more evolutions. More peak designs. Also, we got our first Digimon card that doesn't have a Digimon on it. There's no Digimon on this card.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
But then Altea is because of Altea's nature, he's restricted to certain locations, so he can't venture out like the other members of the debug team. He mostly helps behind the scenes. But then debug 6 doesn't follow any one character. It sort of the first half has us showing off Yuki, reminding everyone that she's supposed to be the main character. And she meets up with some of the other characters we've met, so Ryutaro, Suzume, and Winner, and some explores Yuki's character, where her goal is to become friends with all Digimon, and she's pretty upset that they couldn't find a Wormmon, so they presume it died, because when Digimon enter Lacuna and aren't put in a card, they will die. Aside from the partner Digimon we've seen so far, which have uniquely adapted to Lacuna, which is why they have brand new evolutions. But then in the second half of the chapter, we get more of Unchained. And Unchained has the Wormmon, so that's why the Wormmon went Unchained took it.
Okay.
And Unchained's also the one who's been sending out the Machinamon. Because the Machinamon somehow connected to someone they know, saying that it contains the remnants of that person's former partner. And that they're working with that person to achieve a goal, but they kind of have different ideas about Digimon, where Unchained is revealed to be an AI, not a person. It's like she is not a man, nor a woman, not a adult, not a child. So she has a human appearance, but is a digital life form, but is also not a Digimon. So she resents herself for this fact, because she wishes she were a Digimon, because she feels more of a connection to Digimon than people, which in the opposite sort of regard to her little sister Close, because in the Close chapters she refers to Close as a little sister, and then it's revealed in Debug 7 that they're sort of siblings in the sense they have the same origin.
Okay.
So it's like more metaphorically siblings. And it's also revealed Unchained wants to whisk all the Digimon away to the safety of the digital world. Even that means separating them from humans.
Alright.
And that Machinamon have data from the digital world, which isn't made obvious in the English translation. Because with Japanese characters, you can apply readings to them, so the reading will change the meaning. So like with kanji. And what you can also do is you can apply a foreign reading to a character. So like, it's not like sushi. Sushi is not the native reading for the characters that spell sushi. And you can even take words that have no connection at all to the Japanese language. Like when Digimon Colon Cancer was coming out, Metal Greymon and Wagerumon got new forms. So Metal Greymon's episode title referenced it getting a new arm. So for Wagerumon got machine wings, so the kanji spelled machine wing, but the reading was Sagittarius. I'd be like, oh, that's so cool. I'm reading it like that's not a native reading at all. They're applying a foreign reading because like it's just ridiculous that you'd ever be able to read those characters natively as Sagittarius. So in the Japanese version, when it says New World, the kanji says New World. The reading is Digital World, like just straight up Digitaro World. So it pretty much gives away Unchained's plan. And Unchained sent the Deep Savers NPCs to fight Shoto and Close. Sort of a team building exercise. Because she intends for the debug team to sort of protect Lacuna while it serves as an arc to transport the Digimon to the safety of the digital world. And we do get a lot of nuance from Unchained. Like Unchained understands that a lot of the debug team aren't going to like what she's doing, and she does care greatly for many of the members of the debug team, especially Cool Boy. And so it hurts her that she's going to basically destroy everything Cool Boy has worked to do, which is preserving Digimon. and human relationships with those Digimon, but from her perspective, Cool Boy's methods are taking too long, and this are going to result in more loss of Digimon life than her actions, which are going to result in a lot of Digimon being hurt in the short term, but benefit them in the long term.
Okay.
So she gives the data of a Makinamon into the Wormmon, which I presume would help stabilize it because it was unstable, and sends it out to infect, to possess an NPC, so it can begin the next phase of her plan, which is a much bigger team building exercise. And then we got the next debug chapters, which I'm going to talk about now, because the previous debug chapters are more sort of setting up for stuff to come later.
All right.
7 and 8 are more so seem to be winding things down, because Digimon Liberator is going to be entering sort of a new phase soon.
Oh, okay.
I guess as it approaches its 1 year mark. A lot of people thought it was going to end after a year, and I thought that was ridiculous. It's like, we haven't seen all the characters yet, and there's not enough time to show off all the characters that it's going to end. And it's probably going to go for at least another year, if not, probably, people think maybe the last 3 years. Because as of right now, we still have to see Zenith fight a battle, Owen fight a battle, and introduced to the final debug team member. Also, Cool Boy needs to fight a battle, and I guess Unchained. And debug 7 is kind of just a girls' day out with Violet, Arissa, and Close.
Okay.
I'm just thinking of, like, I feel like I'm forgetting something. If you're forgetting something that wasn't important, it's just Yao sitting out by herself, because, like, all the girls are here, except Yao.
Alright.
Which is sad, because she really wants to be Arissa's friend. But the relationship charts are funny, because when they introduce Close, the relationship chart thing is, like, Violet to Close. It's like, another rival, which means, like, another potential friend. Because Violet wants to make friends, but she's a tsundere. It's like, she's a foreigner, so she thinks being a tsundere will help her make friends. So that's why Arissa is her true rival, because she wants to be friends with Arissa, but doesn't want to admit it, because that's something a tsundere would never admit. And I remember someone, I think, mistranslated something on the character chart where it says, close to Arissa, kind and somewhat untrustworthy. Viola harasses her too much, but they updated that to Violet, because Violet's name in Japanese is still Violet, but in English they call her Vi, but in Japanese they call her Viola. So it's Viola, Violet Viola, Violet Vi, and then they updated it and fixed it. And so the girls' day out is just talking about stuff and revealing things like Close is an AI, but she's more advanced than Unchained is, because she was born later. So she takes in more character data, and they also explain things like why can Shoto and Arissa suddenly use their trump cards again now that they join the debug team, and that's because they're closer to Close. And Close is part of the reason why they can put Digimon into cards. Like, they process things through a black box memory circuits. And she's also why they can use their unique emblems, which kind of gives me the impression something bad's going to happen to Close down the line.
Okay.
Because I remember something having a shackle around her neck. So I looked through the first few chapters a couple of times, and I couldn't find it, and I realized the other week, oh, it's in chapter 0. Like, chapter 0 just shows off a bunch of characters without context, and one of them is Close with a shackle around her neck. So I think Unchained's probably going to do something bad to her as part of her plans.
Okay.
But there's some reveal things like Close really likes people. Arissa likes touching Close's hair. And so does Violet. And it's like, Close likes being touched, like phrasing. But we're also told that Arissa and Violet are going to be taking a break from Digimon Liberator. So I'm going to, like, are we going to get another time skip, or are we going to have an excuse to not focus on them for a little while? Because Arissa needs to focus on her studies, because she's about to do entry exams to university, and her family, she comes from a family of doctors.
Oh.
And her family doesn't care if she doesn't become a doctor, but she wants to do it herself. So it's like Joe's family from Adventure, but the total opposite. We don't need you to be a doctor. You do what you want to do, but I want to be a doctor. Joe, we don't care about what you want to do. You will be a doctor.
Are you a doctor yet, Joe?
And Violet will be moving back to her hometown, and where she will go to university, having already secured a spot, probably because she's rich. So Close feels sad about them leaving, but they'll be back. Like Arissa will finish her studies, will finish her exams, then come back once she begins her studies, and Violet will be getting a Digimon Liberator sort of booth in her hometown, so she can start playing the game again. So it's like technical information is like pretty neat. And then Debug 7.2 is actually about Muchomon. So Shoto's original partner, and it's kind of just exploring some of his thoughts and mindset, and like how he feels about Shoto, like he cares for him very greatly, and like how things are since Terramon showed up, and it's just like this is absolute cinema. Like it's just a very heartwarming, touching chapter. And we also, something people didn't notice, in the first couple chapters, Shoto doesn't have his red and blue carabiners. Red and yellow carabiners, which like, no one really knows that because that's always been a part of design. So like, I guess people overlooked it when it wasn't there for the first couple chapters. He actually bought those as an accessory after the first couple chapters. And the reason why they're red and yellow is specifically to represent Muchomon. Because he has a green deck with green clothes, but Muchomon's red and yellow. So he got red and yellow carabiners. And then Muchomon, he wasn't kind of sure, but Muchomon thought it was okay. Because the yellow looks kind of gold, and then Muchomon becomes a medieval Gallantmon. And he feels like, you know, even if it does look gold, it suits me now. Because when Shoto plays, like, Terramon will come, his line will, Muchomon will become the old cards on Medieval Gallantmon, and also, I guess his original Mega level is Crossmon, which is gold anyway. So like, people are expecting we'd get the new Debug team member and Zenith, but we didn't get either of these debugs, but it's fine, I guess. They did hint in the Close and Girl chapters that the final Debug team member is actually Arissa's older sister who likes to travel around a lot. And Close thinks like, you know, there is that girl who reminds me a lot of Arissa, but I haven't spoken to her. But she like, Close is too shy to ask Arissa about it. And we do know from leaks for X9, her name is Kinosaki Mirai. So it is Arissa's older sister. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes, because the novel characters have been popping up more and more in the comic every now and again. And I guess comic characters are now appearing in the novel, too. And we had a lot of column stuff as well, like a lot of this sort of technical information, usually like describing the garden or maintenance things or the locations. They also introduced some things about Shoto, like Shoto's hair changing color is a texture thing, which the people working on the game don't understand. They think they don't know if he modded himself or not, but he doesn't seem to have any bad intentions.
Alright.
That explains Shoto's hair changing color. They also said there's special stuff about Shumon and Terramon, and then it cuts off. But like a weird thing about it is like one of them's just literally a document, and like what's weird is they have redacted stuff, but then they do brackets redacted. It's like, I guess you don't really need to do that, but okay. Like it's blacked out, then redacted. And then Debug 8 is about Yuki again, where Yuki encounters a ends up in its weird location with cherry blossoms and is attacked by a Huckmon who's defending a bunch of baby Digimon, and they're not in the garden, but somehow alive.
Mm.
And then Hugmon says like Cool Boy abandoned them there because Hugmon explains he's actually from a different game, which had a peaceful beast Digimon that was then attacked by a strange mechanical Digimon, which definitely seems like it's implying that's what Makinemon used to be. When Makinemon, those two Digimon combined, and that resulted in Makinemon.
Mm.
And Hugmon ended up in Digimon Liberator after he used one of his abilities. Because Hugmon is the 15th anniversary Digimon, and he becomes the Royal Knight Digimon, so he has OS generics, which allows him to rewrite reality. So he did that a little too hard, and ended up in Liberator.
Mm.
He then fights Yuki after giving her a new Heavy Metal Drum Ace card, which through some clever plays, she manages to beat Hugmon and his Gizmon deck. Which is funny because a lot of the Liberator novel decks, like, they have gimmicks which sound cool in theory but are terrible in practice.
Mm.
Like, Yuki's deck is especially bad.
Oh, okay.
Because it relies on having a small number of cards in your hand, but the Digimon card game, it's very easy to get a lot of cards in your hand.
Mm.
They did a social thing, like, some players love losing to Yuki on purpose, like simps. I guess they're playing Barbamon or something. Because Barbamon's all about trashing your opponent's hand.
Mm.
But like, yeah, people losing to Yuki because they get off on it, I guess.
Alright.
But like, she beats Hugmon and Hugmon sort of explains himself.
Mm.
So like, they leave on better terms and sort of sets up more story for like where the narrative's gonna go. I guess they'll be exploring that aspect more. And then the novel itself ends with a warning about something bad about to happen. And these chapters actually came out after the more recent comic chapters, and we thought it was going to be something important.
Mm.
But then we actually get the chapters like this. I don't see why they had to delay these. Like, I guess they didn't want to break up the Black Imperial Dramon fight because a Black Imperial Dramon shows up with 50 copies of itself and starts invading Lacuna. Meanwhile, Shoto is stuck in a main quest, so Cool Boy and Unchained have to go and find him. And like with the Aegis Dramon situation, people were so cocksure something bad was going to happen to Cool Boy.
Mm.
Nothing bad happens to Cool Boy.
Oh,
It's like,
okay.
Unchained seems to be planning something, and I said, like, I don't think Unchained's going to do anything to Cool Boy because it doesn't fit her MO.
Mm.
Like, I think she wants to get access to more systems she doesn't usually have access to, because she's restricted to the garden on account of her unique nature. Which, like, if she leaves the garden, she could be put in serious danger. Anyway, they go and find Shoto while Arisa and other characters go around fighting Imperial Dramons, and Violet beats a whole bunch of them. But one criticism I do have of the writing is of the improper use of some words, where Arisa's staring at all the Imperial Dramon flying about, and she says, "Are we going to have to fight those Digimon with cards?"
Mm.
And Owen says, "Don't worry, as long as they're in this world, they're going to have to follow the rules." And I checked the Japanese, and that's pretty much one-to-one to what they're saying.
Okay.
And the way that's worded, it would imply you don't fight them with cards, because it says, Arisa's like, "Are we going to have to fight them with cards?" which is her concern.
Mm.
And then Owen says, "Don't worry," so it's like alleviating a concern. Arisa should be saying, "Are we going to have to fight them without using cards?"
Mm-hmm.
Because they do fight them in proper card matches.
Mm.
And even then, Owen's dialogue doesn't quite make sense because according to the rules we know about Lacuna, wild Digimon can't fight with cards. Wild Digimon need to possess an NPC because then they have access to cards and stuff. There's an awkward bit of dialogue, but when they do fight the Imperial Dramon summon an orb, so they're technically fighting the orb. So that kind of got around my thing. So I didn't think they'd fight the Imperial Dramon because they don't fight wild Digimon in card fights. But I think it ties back to the Wormmon is behind everything, having possessed an NPC called Sam the Clown, who was actually referenced in one of the early columns. And Violet takes down 5 Imperial Digimon by the time Orisa takes down 1, and Orisa barely scrapes through a win. And they establish Violet's so good at it because she has that deck herself, because they established in her first couple chapters she owns a whole bunch of decks on account of being rich. That's how she manages to beat the Imperial Digimon so easily. And we also get Ghostmon's evolution line finally, and it's kind of underwhelming. Like, they spend ages waiting, and its line is Ghostmon to Bakemon to Phantomon to a brand new Digimon. And I don't really like that line for the most part, because Bakemon and Phantomon are very old Digimon, so they're also very simple looking, but Ghostmon is a much more recent Digimon, so it's a bit more complex. And it looks like a line where you could cut out Bakemon and Phantomon, because they're kind of just there. I would have preferred a new line, but like, I guess it is what it is.
Okay.
But I like Necromon, like he's the Lich King from World of Warcraft, and Sauron, and a character from Fate Stay Night, and a guy from Overlord or whatever. He's also a really fun character, because it's like a line where, like, if I must fight 100 battles, then I will win 100 battles. And it's just like a bridge Vegeta, like, oh my god, he's so cool! But they're actually fighting. The Imperial Digimon cards are actually really old. Like, they're all the way back from X3. I think it was X3. X3 Dragon's Roar, which I think is some of the oldest cards that have appeared. Like, they're almost 3 years old. But they had more recent Imperial Digimon cards coming out, so when Violet's about to beat yet another Imperial Digimon fight, Sam the Clown emerges in like this really creepy sequence, and starts rewriting the cards to beat Violet specifically. And people are like, why doesn't Orisa just jump into the fight? This is terrible writing. It's like, and some of the things like, you guys don't know what bad writing is if you think this is bad writing, because they establish Orisa barely scraped through a win against the regular deck, let alone the brand new one. And right before Violet's beaten, Shoto jumps in, having just been brought back by Unchained, and they established in the close situation with the Deep Savers, debug team members can insert themselves into fights.
Okay.
So they established that ability in a low-stakes scenario, so they can then apply it in this high-stakes scenario, having already set it up, rather than pulling out their asses. That's actually good writing, not bad writing. And this whole debate, like, did Violet job in this fight? And be like, yes or no. Like, oh, well, she was written to lose, therefore she's a jobber. But the term jobber comes from wrestling, where, like, people, throw a fight because they're scripted to do so. If that is applied to wrestling, because wrestling is real life. If applied to written stories, then every fight where you have a winner and a loser, the loser is automatically a jobber. That's why you don't apply it to a lot of written stuff. And generally in fiction, when you say someone's a jobber, it's they show up and immediately get beaten. Like, they show up to get the crap beaten out of them without putting up a fight to, like, how tough the new guy is. Violet actually showed her competence, and then it's shown, like, well, no matter how competent she is, she can't beat a cheater. And then, so, like, I don't agree with Violet being a jobber. And so then Shoto fights the new Imperial Digimon deck, and you get more information about unique emblems, where Yao's plan is if Shoto is about to lose, she'll do what Shoto did and jump in. But Sangamon establishes if she does that, even if she wins, her data will be erased. But like, it's not really a bad thing. Like when Violet's about to lose to Imperial Digimon, it's this really dramatic moment. I was like, this is kind of silly because nothing bad happens if your data gets erased. The person is fine. The Digimon is fine. They established that in the first ebook chapter. It's like it's just kind of funny how overdramatic it's supposed to be. But then Shoto does manage to pull out a win after having this moment where he's about to give up. And then the Fargamon gives him another pep talk like he did in the first couple chapters. And it's sort of explaining to him how he's sort of evolved. And sounds like, the term Digivolve doesn't work here, but like evolve does. And like I read that and like I disagree. Because when it's saying evolved, they don't mean evolution in the conventional sense, they mean Digimon evolution. Like Shoto has transformed. Like he has become someone new. Since when he first met Terramon, so Digivolution applies fine. Because they're not they're referring to Digimon transforming, not a gradual progression. And people are like, oh, it's not really hard to see. It's really hard to see his character development. Like, this isn't really a character development moment, as it's just highlighting the developments he's had in previous chapters, where he went from, giving up in the face of pressure to, managing to stand against the pressure and not give up like he usually does. And that's when he pulls out the Fargamon Ace, which is Fargamon gets a new appearance. And like it has gold instead of red, and like wings made of energy, and can't really see it on the card, but one of the artists posted a thing for Fargamon. You can see all the 6 colors of the card game, because there's 7 colors, but white's not included because Whitey's got to pay, and the payment is not being on the Fargamon Ace. And I remember there's this guy who was debating, like, it's clearly the Fargamon just using this technique, and like a bunch of us were arguing with him, like, it's not him using a technique, it's him doing, like, him having transformed. Like, you literally see the technique, Anemone Embrace. I know it's divine tempest. He uses divine tempest against Frozen Knight. It's not, and then we see it in the novel, like in the comic we have indicated, it's a transformation because he even uses upgraded attack names. Because it's so obviously not just him using a technique. But Yao seems to understand what's going on, but no one else seems to. But like Shoto has this big moment where like his eye starts glowing, and like I am become Sans Undertale, get into my eye.
That's confusing, Chelsea. What's confusing you? What's confusing you, Chelsea?
Green dick.
What?
What are you talking about, Chelsea? I take my eyes off the chat for 20 minutes.
I don't know. Is there a Digimon with a green dick, SGD, that I should know about?
Oh, there are Digimon with bulges, but none of them are green.
Evolved and transform?
Yeah, it's like he's Shoto sort of evolved in the sense of he's become a new person, Chelsea. Like Digimon evolve into new forms, Shoto evolved into a new version of himself. And like what backs up that meaning they were going for with Digivolution, as they did an artwork thing of Shoto imagining humans evolving and him just becoming really old. But like when Shoto beats the Imperial Digimon, he also just straight up kills the Wormmon. Because unlike with the previous Digimon and NPCs, Wormmon was sitting outside of Sam and wasn't inside Sam's body. It's like it's definitely interesting because Unchained says it wasn't going to be able to take Wormmon with her for her master plan. What's also revealed in these chapters is when Shoto was reminded of someone by Terramon, that was specifically Owen, because he knew Owen when they were kids. And that seems to be what the next couple chapters are going to be about.
Alright.
And it's like, yeah, so far I've been pretty happy with where things have been going, especially the Imperial One chapters, which was Overwrite Black. Those are very fast-paced and engaging. Show Me Your Brave Heart is episode 11. It's like, I understood that reference.
Alright.
Now, Chelsea, you wrote Green Dick.
That was with an I, Chelsea.
They're not the same thing, Chelsea. Green deck, green cards. All the cards in his deck are green. A deck of cards. But yeah, it looks like in another 3 months we'll be getting the final debug team member, which like I've had to wait how many months, Venom? 6 months.
6 months. Oh.
So she has a yellow-purple deck, and people are like, oh, I hope it's this thing. It's like, I hope it's Unimon or Centaurmon. It's like, well, we know what the final Digimon looks like. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, Override Black and Show Me Your Brave Heart were also the first back-to-back battle chapters, because they tend to do fight, break, and so on. So we're going, I guess, back into the usual routine of a break and a fight. And presumably we'll be seeing Owen's cards next, because the current set, which is coming out in April, we're getting reveals for it right now, has Zenith's cards, but it just seems to be the Bell Online from Digimon World 3, so like, no need to really hide anything there. I'd be like, oh, these must be the cards that Zenith used to beat Owen in the World Tournament. Like, no, I don't think so, because these cards have Liberator trait, and they couldn't have Liberator trait if they're the cards he used to beat Owen. I guess he just beat him with regular Ragnamon, which isn't that great. But we might also not get Owen's new cards. Like, it really depends, because so far the way the set's shaping up, it doesn't look like he's going to get a secondary line.
Alright.
Unless they don't do a purple egg, which every main set, I think, to my understanding, has had at least an egg of every color.
Chelsea, that's not gaslighting. That's still not what that word means, Chelsea. Saying dick and deck are the same thing is not gaslighting, Chelsea. That's not how it works. To gaslight, Chelsea, you gotta actually, like, convince me with a lie. Like, I actually gotta, like, believe it. So...
from a card game perspective, the sets don't look to be that interesting for me right now, because the current one is a protagonist set to celebrate the whole global unification of the card game, so the English and Japanese versions are going to have simultaneous releases.
alright.
I think the Koreans are way behind still, and I think the Chinese are catching up. But I guess Bandai's main concern is the English and Japanese audiences.
Damn, you're telling me I'm behind? Man.
Yeah, they're also doing the Wind Guardians now, so that just leaves Middle Empire and Virus Busters for the next couple sets. It's the Middle Empire. It's probably gonna have a Megamon in it, which is like, oh, it's, that is what it is. And then Virus Busters is just a protagonist VPET. With a few randos thrown in, and then Pendulum Z was even more protagonisty, unfortunately.
Alright then.
But we do know what the next couple of sets are going to be, like X9, I think will be the next set. And and that's going to be based on Digital Monster, the original Digimon V-Pets.
Let's go.
So that's going to introduce Kinosaki Mirai and her new partner, which my guess is it's going to be the Bastian line or something.
Alright.
Because it has to fit yellow, purple, and so it's like, I hope it's a warrior. But like, the main sort of warrior egg is Caprimon, which is already used for the Espimon line, which like, yeah, if I had a choice, I probably would have done Mochimon, because Espimon has a space theme, and Mochi is made on the moon. But like, I guess they went with Caprimon because it's also a machine deck. It's like, I guess it's more understandable for most people. And Mochimon's not usually associated with machine Digimon. I think it's like Cybersith and whatnot has it evolve into Hagurumon. But like, I think that in Digimon Links was the only time. Like, people also think maybe Centomon and Unimon, but like, I'm not sure they'd want to use those Digimon in a Digital Monster set because those Digimon are from Digital Monster, and people think, oh, she's going to have a Digital Monster deck, but like, no, every Liberator characters have their own gimmick. Like, the novel characters have a new keyword, like Vortex or Overclock, or Execute, which is Ghostmon's new thing, which is allows you to attack at the end of your turn. You can attack on suspended Digimon, and then this Digimon dies, which is part of Violet's whole strategy, because how building a stack which then activates a bunch of on-delete effects.
V-Pet the Tamagotchi things, right, Chelsea?
Yes, Chelsea. And Digital Monster is also going to have its own thing with like, somehow they'll work in training and feeding and whatnot, like because training and feeding was important for the getting the Digimon you wanted in the original Digital Monster. And every the novel characters don't have a keyword, but they do focus on some kind of gimmick. Like Yuki's is having a small hand size. The winners is placing Digimon face up in security. Tyrannomon, Ryutara's is about getting offensive benefits from suspending your own Digimon. Suzune's is benefiting from your opponent having no evolution sources. Altea's is having Digimon face up in security, but also allowing to play them from security. So you're restocking your security with face up Digimon, which then you can play. So they're sort of leveraging what the colors already do. Like green has a lot to do with suspending, red has a lot to do with offense. So Tyrannomon is green, red, or red, green. Red, green, so it leverages both those aspects. So I expect Mirai's Digimon is going to focus more on something that yellow and purple does. I'm having trouble finding a picture of it, but we do know her mega form. Like, some people think it has a warrior theme, but I don't agree with that. It looks like it some kind of armored being with a sun disk.
Okay.
So it makes me think. I was expecting Bastimon for a while because it needs to be yellow, purple, and Plotmon has already been associated with yellow and purple and yellow purple. But like, don't know what it could be like. And with the way they've been introducing all the characters so far, it's like they've had varying numbers. But the Devoke team is like, Yuki has 3 new forms, Winner has 3 new forms, Suzune and Altea have 2 new forms, Ryutaro has 1 new form, so I presume Mirai is probably going to add 1 new form as well. And it's like people hoping for Centomon and Unimon, like, already know it doesn't look like it's going to be a centaur looking character. But like, So I'm interested to see where they're going to go with that, because I'm interested in the gimmick, even if it's going to be a bunch of old Digimon that have already gotten cards for the most part. I think I found a picture.
Alright.
Then after that, we're getting X10, which is going to be a villains anime set. It's like, okay, also not that really exciting for me. But there's also a bunch of Digimon from the animes that haven't gone in yet. Like, they've done a few villains from Cross Wars, but not all of them. Like a handful of the big bads from the end of Cross Wars haven't gone in yet.
Alright.
So I'd expect to see them there. Yeah, I haven't. Not gonna bother with the whole poster, but like with this poster, they had all the comic child levels together and all the novel ultimates together. So people are hopeful maybe the comic will give them on something new, because Ragnamon was amongst the novel novel ultimates. I was also one of the people pointing out on the poster they had certain Digimon there, like Grey Knightsmon and Balmon X, and Greymon Blue X on the poster, because there was a lot of Digimon focused on the card game. So Balmon X and Greymon Blue X were created for the card game, while Grey Knightsmon got acknowledged by the wider franchise thanks to the card game. And it's actually one of the older Digimon from the Cross Wars DS games. So there's a lot of neat references to things. And then I think another set we know about is supposed to set 23 or 22, because we're on 21 right now, which is Cyber Eden, which is going to be based on the Cyber Sleuth games. Like, okay, another theme down. We'll get vtuber one of these days. There is a White Lotmon Chelsea, but I don't expect it to be acknowledged in anything, because it was kind of one of those anime things.
You alright, Nick?
Oh, my nose.
Ah, okay.
And according to leaks, Yao and Orisa are going to be getting new ultimate forms in that set. So that's something to look forward to, I guess. But we don't know if it's brand new cards for them, or just brand new forms, or if it's going to be like older Digimon but new cards, like how Shoto got Medieval Dukemon, which is the old Digimon but a new card for him. And the leaks also imply we're going to get at least 15 tamers in that set, with possibly up to 18. Which, if it's 18, that's almost a fifth of the set as tamers, because the set's 102 cards. And even if it's 15, that's 12 Cyber Sleuth tamers. And if it's 18, it's 15 Cyber Sleuth tamers. The most amount of tamers we've ever gotten on a set before was 15 in Digimon Secret Crisis, which, at least in that case, it was Digimon from like 5 different... it was tamers from at least 5 different continuities. But in Cyber Sleuth, it's going to be 15, like anywhere between 12 and 15 from 1, which is like not going to be that exciting. So good, get it over with, I guess. Looking at it, it was... they had Frontier, Tamers, Adventure, 02, Seekers, Savers, the original Adventure short film, and Lost Evolution, which are technically adventures, like 5 or 6 continuities, depending on how specific you want to be. So they at least added some variety, but it looks like the next sets are going to be pretty boring if you're just interested in the cards. Like Cyber... I can imagine they're not going to split up Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory, because the last time they sort of arbitrarily split up a continuity was Adventure. But at the same time, they were finally doing cards for the original adventure. They were also doing ace cards as a brand new thing. So I can imagine they didn't want 8 ace cards in one set when they had just introduced the gimmick. So they did half the adventure cast with 4 aces, and the other half of the adventure cast with 4 aces in the next set. Young Hunters and Crosswalls are split up, but their gimmick was Digicrossing, but they used Digicrossing differently. So Crosswalls is building a big Digimon with a bunch of pieces. Young Hunters introduced the save mechanic, so when a Digimon dies, you put it under a tamer instead. Then you can play a Digimon with Digicross and place that Digimon underneath that Digimon, which is referencing Cross Up, which is a sort of different take on Digicrossing. So it makes sense they'd split that up, but there's no real reason to split up Hacker's Memory and Cyber Sleuth, especially considering they want to introduce a new gimmick. Well, it's not really a gimmick, it's sort of building upon previous gimmicks where you're going to be able to evolve and devolve cards, which is sort of what they did with the Lunamon and Coronamon lines in Animal Colosseum, I think it was. Because they're also from the Digimon Story games before Cyber Sleuth. So they're probably going to spread that out to a handful of more cards, but with as many as 18 tamers, there's really not a lot of room for a lot of Digimon. So it's not that exciting.
Okay.
A deck. I am interested to see X9 though. Because when they first revealed it, they didn't show off any effects or anything, but they just showed the cards without effects. And they showed the 5 cyborgs from Digital Monster: Metal Greymon, Metal Mamamon, Andromon, Megatron, Metal Tyrannomon. And it was Metal Greymon was red and black, Metal Mamamon was blue and black, because it's got evolved into Crestcreamon in the VPETs. Andromon was yellow black, Megatron was purple black, and Metal Tyrannomon was green black. So that makes me think, I don't think we're going to get primary black cards this set aside from Mugendramon. And they've confirmed Analog Man from Digimon Worlds that confirms Mugendramon for the set. And there's 5 VPETs, so they could split, the rookies and babies between those 5 colors.
Alright.
So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Also, we got Adventure Starter decks coming out right now. Like, they'll also be released in April, which is like Adventure Starter decks also not very exciting. But Bandai did announce a bunch of products in advance, so we know when they're all coming out. So it's gonna be a matter of time to see what those are. People are hoping that with Time Stranger and whatnot coming out, we'll see Olympus 12 starter deck. And be like, well, we didn't see Survive or anything, and like, oh, it took 10 years for like Cyber Sleuth to finally get a set. Like, my guy, the card game is 5 years old. Cyber Sleuth was 5 years old by the time the card game came out. There was no capitalizing on anything. And I think I'm not expecting the card game to try and capitalize on Time Stranger coming out, because the way game development works versus the TCG, they probably don't want to spoil anything through the TCG in case delays happen. Which is probably why they still haven't really gotten anything for Survive besides promos. Because like Survive did not have a great development. Thanks, Tabu.
Alright. It all goes back to Hapu.
So like, this they don't seem to be running out of ideas, I'd say, but they are getting more thematic, I suppose.
Okay.
So, here's a protagonist set, here's a villain set, here's Digital Monster. So other things I probably expect to see down the line is, AV Tamer set would be nice. We still have Metal Empire and Virus Busters, which will be the last of the field decks. So we'll see those in Liberator, I imagine. Because they tend to focus on those kinds of decks for the mooks they fight. They definitely seem to be avoiding certain things because like Digimon are multimedia figures in Liberator, but I think they probably don't want to do something specific like an adventure deck because that's going to rely on having the adventure keyword. And some people think certain things in canon Liberator, but like I don't think things like the Liberator keyword are canon. Like card numbers are not canon. Like they cannot be canon in the same because there are cards that are just made up on the spot. They can't have a set number. They have set numbers because it's just referencing the real life card game. It's easier to just copy paste a card design than edit out the number in every single picture. Olympus 12 starter deck would be nice. Starter deck booster set would be nice because they're missing a lot of Olympus 12 characters. Their recent set referenced the Chronicles storyline, which is an old Digimon storyline for the Digimon Pendulum X, the storyline. Then later they did Digital Monster X, which came after for some reason. That was Chronicles X. And so I'm expecting they'll probably split Chronicles X into 2 sets. Because that's when all the 7 Great Demon Lords got X antibody forms and the 13 Royal Knights. They've slowly been doing the Demon Lords 7 Demon Lords X antibody forms. And the Royal Knights X antibody forms, but they'll probably give them dedicated sets. I think adding because it's 20, it's like 22 X antibody forms alone just from the top ends. Because it's the 13 Royal Knights plus the 7 Great Demon Lords plus G1 GX plus Ugdomon X. Wait, now 24 because then you have to have Karamon and Diabromon X because they're integral to the storyline. But it'd be interesting to see where the card game goes from here and what Liberator does. Because they're also referenced for the villain set. Claws is going to get a new power. So let's see what happens with that.
Alright.
I've really been hoping for a VTuber one for a while. Because there's a lot of VTuber mons that still haven't been added to the card game. Like Callusmon got added to the reference book because of Nightmare Soldier's Pendulum Color. I remember a bunch of people thinking, is the X9 going to be based on Digital Monster or Digital Monster Color? And I'm just sitting here thinking, of course it's going to be based on Digital Monster Color. Level 6s literally do not exist in Digital Monster. You can't have a card game deck that doesn't have a top end. What's he doing? Armor Rush or something. Interesting to see what they'll do as Zafagomon's Ace form, because be like, maybe they'll call it Zafagomon Ace, and be like, technically it would just have to be called Zafagomon, because Ace is not considered part of a Digimon's name for rewarding reasons. But it could be a different form that's just called Zafagomon, because a lot of people don't understand Holy Angemon from Adventure actually debuted in V-Tamer. So Priest mode, which was only added to the reference book somewhat recently, like if you go into its page, you can switch between images. At normal form is Priest mode, then they made the combat mode for the anime, which they reference in its lore. But it's just called Holy Angemon, they don't differentiate it. And there's also Digimon like Splashmon from Cross Wars, which has a humanoid form and a tiger form. They're both just called Splashmon. So this new Zafagomon form could just be called Zafagomon regardless of what it looks like.
Alright.
People are hopeful, like maybe the rest of the cast will get new forms with Ace cards, but like even though Heavy Metal Dramon didn't, like they might just not do the novel cast getting new forms like that. Or they might do it for the comic cast, but like I would prefer some variants. Like Arisa didn't get a new card like Medieval Dukemon, but like maybe give her a pumpkin carriage Digimon. I know her attacks reference a pumpkin carriage, but like, Junkmon already has wheels. Give him a new Mega with wheels.
Alright.
Junkmon's line is weird. Junkmon to Tobocatmon to Pandamon to Shinmonzaimon. Like, Monzaimon doesn't already exist. It's like, why make Pandamon? Why not regular Monzaimon?
Alright.
But
Oh, my nose. Ow.
yeah, definitely been very happy with how things are progressing. They're going to be announcing a new project at DigimonCon in a couple of weeks.
Oh, okay.
So that's the week after next. It's on the 20th. Which, why Bandai? Why is it on a Thursday? You always did them on Sundays.
What's wrong with Thursdays?
Oh, I'm working Thursdays.
Oh, okay.
It's like 1 o'clock on a Thursday. Like, why? Why'd you do this to me? Why would you personally do this to me, Bandai?
Okay.
People thought it was going to be like a replacement for Liberator, but like, I don't think it's going to be a replacement for Liberator. People like, maybe it'll be season 2 of Liberator, because webcomics tend to just arbitrarily do seasons. Like, I was like, oh yeah, it's season 2 now, just because.
Huh.
And they're also going to be announcing some stuff like a D3 color. It's like, I'm not interested in the toys, but like, interesting to see what they do with that. People are hopeful they'll be an anime. It's like they haven't said anything, but we're getting that Digimon Adventure music video. So like finally ending the 25th anime anniversary celebrations. So I've been saying for a while, if they're gonna announce an anime, it's going to be after the celebrations end, not during. Because like people are like, why are they not announcing a new anime when they're celebrating 25 years of anime history? Like, because they're celebrating 25 years of anime history. It's like, that's just silly.
Alright.
Also, we're getting new Time Stranger news, so...
Alright. Are you excited for that, or...?
Optimistic.
Okay.
Definitely a lot of stuff to look forward to. Also, the Godzilla Digimon crossover VPET's getting officially announced.
Let's go.
They teased it, but they didn't officially announce anything. And they announced it. They established we're announcing an announcement. Because the Monster Hunter one came out a few weeks ago, which is not really a crossover. It's just a Monster Hunter VPET. With 2 crossover Digimon on it, but this one's going to be more of a proper collaboration from our understanding.
Alright.
So like, things have come full circle, because there was a long-running fan theory that Digital Monster version 5 was supposed to be a Godzilla VPET, like they did a Mothra Tamagotchi, and there wasn't much basis for that. But a lot of people didn't understand things like there was no artwork on the Digital Monster 5 packaging. The main argument was just, these sprites look like Godzilla monsters. But then Bandai announced a couple of years ago that Digital Monster version 5 was based on an successful collaboration between a certain kaiju franchise. And people like, oh, it was a Godzilla collaboration, and now it's come full circle, and they're finally doing that collaboration for real over 25 years later.
Alright. Let's go. So, safe to say, you're at the very least, you're happy with what's coming out with Digimon now.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I do hope an anime does get announced, but like at the same time, I don't trust Toei.
Oh, okay.
Pretty happy. That means you're unhappy. Damn it, SGD, why can you never be satisfied?
Like, I think a good thing about Liberator is it actually has ambition. which is a problem with a lot of more recent Digimon projects. Well, even not just recently, even though like 10 years back to Cyber Sleuth, it just seemed to like lack ambition.
Okay.
So Liberator's definitely trying to be a lot more ambitious and like it's not that the series have been playing it safe, it's just the people behind the projects have kind of openly admitted they're not very ambitious about it. Like Ghost game started off pretty good. I'd say after the Arcanimon episode, there's definitely a drop off in quality, but the director behind it was very forthcoming about wanting to do an episodic series for like people being able to just engage when they want to. And like I think he failed at doing that. Ghost game ended up being much more serialized than he intended, I think. But like Liberator definitely is trying to be a very strongly connected series, especially I think they're getting a much better grasp on things. Like, it started off pretty good, but like things are becoming more connected. I think they're getting more confident in what they are doing.
Alright.
So sounds like this series is anything. This series is really predictable. Like I don't know, the fans' predictions have been pretty wrong so far. Like, people also have crazy theories, like, all the 50 Imperial Digimon would have researched the debug team so they could make Digimon specifically to counter them. Like, no, the writing makes it very clear this is a big team building exercise by Unchained.
Alright.
Like, I know, I love Liberator, but this is why I don't hang out in fandoms. You're all dumb.
Alright. Oh, excuse me. Just stretched a bit. Alright. I want to say, is there? Oh my gosh, it's already 11:40. Oh my goodness, it's been a long time talking about Digimon. Damn.
I only do this every 3 months.
I only do this every 3 months. You gotta get out. Alright, but I guess just besides being happy with Digimon in general overall, any other things you gotta say about Digimon Liberator specifically?
I think I've said everything I have to say at the moment.
Alright then. Oh my goodness, my nose. Ugh. Maybe it's an allergy thing. Who knows? Alright.
I think with this chapter coming to a close, I'll probably have to do a retrospective on it so far, because just before the Imperial Digimon stuff started, they kind of did a recap chapter, which kind of just abridges a lot of the story so far, but like, kind of a weird time to do it, because it looks like it would have been better a bit later, because they didn't keep updating it. They did one drop, so it doesn't include the Imperial Digimon stuff.
Alright then. Alright. We've been going now for like 4 hours now. So that's cool. That's cool. We can go for like 4 hours now. Oh my gosh, daylight savings time is like gonna kick in like 10 minutes. You don't have daylight savings times, right, SUD, in Australia?
We have daylight savings.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the clocks to move back, because the global unification with the... I think it's the clocks... I'm not sure. The global unification for the card game was a mistake. I have to stay up until 11 for card reveals now. Like, so when the clocks will move, so I'll only have to stay up until 10.
Alright. Well, alright then. We're gonna call things here. Sup, bro?
Yeah.
Rachel, where you been? Well, the internet cut out for a bit, and then you just called it deuces for a bit. All right,
uh,
welcome back. As soon as we're wrapping things up.
Yeah, daylight savings isn't for another month for us.
Oh, really? Oh, okay then. Well, unfortunately for we Americans, in about 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, like 8 minutes, we're about to lose an hour of sleep. Isn't that fun, Nick?
No.
Well, too bad. Alright, I'm gonna call things here. So yeah. So thanks everyone who came. Thanks everyone watching on the replays. Internet cut out halfway through the stream and all that. So that's always fun. You know, maybe daylight savings time is behind the internet cutting. Maybe. Who knows? And yeah, and as always, thank you. So, as always, everyone, thank you for watching. Thanks for watching on replays. And tomorrow's more Team Side Racing. So until next time, good night. Lose an hour sleep.